Hello and welcome back to Beautiful Goal TV. It is the day, as all football fans, that we have been waiting for since the start of the season. It is the return of the UEFA Champions League. And if you're anything like me, this is the day you look forward to like Christmas. From the moment the football season returns, it's all about when the Champions League comes back. And today is finally that day. In this video, we're just going to run through a quick match day one preview. We're going to take a look at the biggest games happening over match day one. I'm also going to give you my predictions for the group stage and who I think is going to progress from each group. And maybe just at the end of the video, if I feel like I'm feeling some sort of intuitive sense, I might just give a prediction, early tentative prediction on the Champions League winner outright. So let's get into it.
Oh, what a finish!
Okay, so match day one, obviously the big game of this match day is no doubt the game at Anfield between PSG and Liverpool. This is a game that I think every football fan is dying to see. The helter-skelter, high octane, high energy, high pressing game of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, direct play that we saw take European football by storm last season. Can they do it up against a powerhouse in PSG? PSG have got a lot to prove in Europe this season. Last season with their early elimination, their round of 16 elimination against Real Madrid. Actually, watching back my UEFA Champions League round of 16 predictions video, it's one of my first videos, I actually noticed that I got the prediction for last season's winner right in that video. I said that the winner of the Champions League would come from that PSG Real Madrid tie. Happened to be Real Madrid, so I forgot to give myself a pat on the back for that one. But anyway, PSG have a lot to prove in Europe this season. Thomas Tuchel, the new manager who's come in there in replacing Unai Emery, has made some good signings, but it's pretty much the core still of that PSG squad that failed to progress past Barca, having beaten them 4-0 at home, failed to progress past Real Madrid last season, and really have a lot to prove. The likes of Neymar, the likes of Mbappe, especially Neymar, having left Barcelona, come out of Messi's shadow. This is going to be a big test for them, playing in one of the great cathedrals of European football. I personally can't wait for this one. The other big standout tie of this round, I'd say, is definitely going to be between Inter and Tottenham. Inter returning to the Champions League after a 7-year absence, their longest absence from the competition since it became the Champions League. It's a big surprise to see what's happened in Italian football over the last few years with the utter dominance of Juventus and really only Roma and Juve making an impact in Europe, where it used to be a case where all the Italian teams were major threats in Europe. But I'm certainly delighted to see Inter back. Luciano Spalletti's men have it cut out for them though if they are to take anything from the Tottenham game, even despite the fact that they're at home. I just think that the Spurs team are very experienced in Europe. They've got a good few years in Europe under their belt now, and I'm really expecting them to take it to Inter. Even though this game's away from home, I can't see anything other but the Spurs victory. So that's my prediction for that game. But let's run through all the fixtures, and I'm not going to give a prediction for every game in the match day, just running through all the big ones, and then I'm going to run through my predicted group winners and runners up. Tomorrow night, obviously, for me as a Manchester United fan, the big one is United versus Young Boys. But speaking from a neutral's perspective, if you want a good game tomorrow night, you probably want to tune into Real Madrid Roma, which has all the makings of an early stage European classic. These early stage group stage games, especially from match day 1 to 3, can sort of tend to be disappointing at times because there's not all that much to play for, and sometimes teams don't really put it all on the line. But I think that's a game where Roma, the Real Madrid game in that group is a bit of a bonus for them, and they'll certainly want to take 3 points from that one, or at least give it all they've got. So I think that'll make for a really good watch tomorrow night. Other than that, Juventus and Valencia. Juventus have got to go to the Mestalla. It's a tough start in a group where Juventus are certainly the favourites to progress. It is not an easy start at all to go to the Mestalla. So that's going to be very interesting to watch as well. Now let's run through the groups. The first group, Group A, AS Monaco and Dortmund are in there with Atletico Madrid. look, Club Brugge are definitely going to be the whipping boys in this group. You would expect that Atletico would probably top the group, although they haven't started the season too well. There's some question marks over Simeone. I see Antoine Griezmann's come out in the last day or two saying that he's on the same level as Messi and Ronaldo. Are you having a laugh, mate? Are you having a fucking laugh? You know what? The wine's obviously good in Madrid. That's chill. Let Griezmann live in that universe. In back to reality, I think in this group, quick prediction for me is that Dortmund actually topped this group. I think Dortmund, they started the season pretty well in Germany. They look good. They look strong. They're on a really good scoring run in Europe. Marco Reus is in a really good scoring run in Europe if you look back over the last couple of seasons. So I'd go with Borussia Dortmund to finish top of that group. Atletico Madrid will finish second, and Monaco just won't make it out the group this year around. Obviously, Group B is the group of death, as it were. Barcelona, I still think are favorites to come out that group on top. Yes, Spurs are a tough side, Inter are a tough side. PSV are not going to be pushovers. The PSG-Barca game is also going to be one that's really going to be really interesting to watch. PSV have started the Dutch Eredivisie season like a house on fire. They've won all 5 games. They've scored, I think, 21 goals in the first 5 games. They've got a goal difference of plus 18 just after 5 games. And they've got some really exciting young players. And of course, in this first round of fixtures, they have Mark van Bommel going back to the new camp as a player. So that's going to be something special to watch as a football fan, as a neutral. Very, very difficult group to predict. I think it's probably going to be the tightest and most competitive group of all the groups. But being that Inter have been out of Europe for so long, I'm thinking that lack of experience is going to be a big disadvantage to them. And as good as this PSV team are, I just think that Spurs have a little bit more quality and depth in that squad about them. So I'm going to go for Barca first, Spurs second in Group B. Group C, obviously that's the one that's also caught a lot of people's attention. Maybe not quite as competitive as Group B because it's got Red Star Belgrade, who are, looking like they probably will be the whipping boys of this group. Although you can't write them off, you don't want to underestimate them. But when you put them against the quality of Liverpool, Napoli, who even with Maurizio Sarri having gone and Jorginho having gone, they got Carlo Ancelotti who's coming there. They've got some impressive recruitment that's taken place over the summer. And Napoli are still a really, really, really difficult prospect for anyone who has to go to Naples and play them. So PSG, no doubt, favorites. By the way, you got to love the new PSG Ed Jordan Champions League deal. Oh, that kit is a thing of beauty. That's one of the things I'm most excited to see tonight at Anfield as Matchday 1 rolls around. Got to wake up at 4 a.m. in Korea to watch that. Can you believe it? But I think PSG and Liverpool, if I have to choose, I know I've just sang Napoli's praises, but I think that Liverpool and PSG will just have a little bit too much quality for the other teams in this group. Group D is probably the most open of all the groups and maybe the most difficult to predict, I think, because there's no standout favorite in this group. Porto, you might say, yeah. Galatasaray have a lot of quality too. I'm going for those 2 teams to progress over Lokomotiv Moscow and Schalke. But having said that, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those 2 teams do go through. But I'm pretty sure Porto will go through. Galatasaray, they kind of hit and miss in Europe. But it's also been a long time. Porto haven't progressed beyond the round of 16 since they won it in 2004. So Porto are due a good run in Europe, and they do have a really good side, a really, really good squad right now. So I'm thinking Porto and Galatasaray, but it's a very difficult group to predict. Group E, that one is more straightforward. Ajax, despite the fact that as usual they always have a lot of exciting young players, they lack a little bit of experience in the Champions League, and AEK Athens, we know, let's be honest, they just there to make up the numbers. Bayern Munich will top this group comfortably with Benfica coming in second. Pretty sure about that. The Man City group is also, looking beyond Man City. Obviously, they are favorites to top this group. And I actually think, in my opinion, Man City are the early favorites to go and win this competition. If I have a cerebral hunch as to who's going to win this Champions League this year, my heart says Juventus. I would love to see Ronaldo go and win the Champions League for 4th year in a row and take Juventus and see the old lady win the Champions League again after so many years, after so many disappointments in recent times. I would love that, but the heart says Juventus. the mind says, look, Man City are looking really, really strong. And, it says something too, that despite the fact that City haven't even been in the Champions League final, the bookies have them as favourites all around Europe to win this year around. I just think that with it being Pep's third season, they're looking like they've really got their Guardiola philosophy imprinted on them, and it looks like the brand of football that he has them playing is less sterile and more direct. And I think the time that he spent in the English game has been really good for the evolution of Pep's tactical mindset. And they got blitzed by Liverpool last season. If the draw is kinder to them this season, they find themselves in a semi-final. I'll tell you what, Real Madrid, Barca, Juve, all the other big guns, Bayern Munich will not be wanting to face Man City. So Man City get out this group comfortably. Second place, probably Shakhtar, but Lyon could run them close. Lyon have some really good players too. Hoffenheim, how they play. Just not your group. Tough draw. Group G, let me get through this a bit quicker. Group G, Real Madrid will top that group, and Roma will come in second. Group H, a group that Manchester United are in. Oh, that's going to be really, really difficult. Obviously, the exciting game in this draw is going to be Ronaldo coming back to Old Trafford for the second time. I think it's quite poetic that he's been afforded the chance to come back and play at Old Trafford with Real Madrid a couple of years ago, knocking us out of the competition, knocking United out, that is. And now the opportunity to come back as a Juventus player, I think it's going to be quite special, having it back at the Theatre of Dreams. I hope that he doesn't knock us out of the competition this time around. This group is difficult to predict. PSG Young Boys will definitely finish fourth. That's, I think goes without saying. But the other two teams coming through, it's very difficult. If Manchester United can sort themselves out, if they've turned the corner now with these two good results in the league, the win at Burnley and the win at Watford, and if they can start stringing together some good performances, the Young Boys game is really important, because of the 3 away games they have in this group, there's there's very slim chance of them getting anything in Turin. And as I said earlier, for Juventus going to the Matchday is tough. Imagine for this Manchester United team, who Sevilla gave us problems last season. Sevilla knocked us out. Valencia, in my opinion, are a much better team than Sevilla. So I'm gonna go with Juventus to top this group. Manchester United second, but it's conceivable that Valencia might push them in second place. So there you go. That's my preview for match day 1 of the Champions League. Let's hope that it delivers and that we have a great night of football. And also my predictions for the group stage. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Who's going to go through in each group? And who is the favourites, the early favourites to win the Champions League? Do you agree? Is it Man City? Who else looks strong in your opinion? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, if you enjoyed it, please hit that like and subscribe button, hit that share button, and get in touch. Let me know what you think. And looking forward to hearing from you soon. That's it for BGTV for today. I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, what a finish!